Hi guys, welcome to another segment of Women in Weed. Today we're here with Anja. She is the founder of Flush Cannabis brand. They do a blog, they do a magazine, products, you name it. And yeah, we're super excited to have her here.
Thank you for having me. I'm super excited to be here and share a little bit of my story, and of course, be able to talk a little bit about Flush. That means a lot to me. I'm originally from Albania. I moved to Canada when I was 17 years old, so that's few years back, and I moved first to Toronto, and the East Coast is really different, very different from the West Coast. Totally. And lived there for a long time, for about 8 years, and then between that I also lived a couple of years in upstate New York, so getting a little bit of that New York kind of culture and feel, and everything gave me a little bit of kind of cannabis input into it, understanding how it fits in the society. I wasn't ready to welcome it in my life, especially as my profession and my career. My background is in human rights advocacy. That's what I studied for, and that's what I was also working on quite a lot before I entered the cannabis industry. So then I moved to Victoria to continue my schooling here at University of Victoria, and that's when I think my life changed and my career choice changed, and that's when I got introduced to this amazing culture that is the cannabis culture, especially in the West Coast, which represents a culture that we're not only talking about normalizing it. It's a culture that has created itself and has created a structure where it's functional and it's an industry and it's accepted, and I met all these amazing, interesting people that were from all sorts of like ages and walks of life. And I'm like, wow, this is really not even about talking if it's normal. To me, it came natural to just, I wanted to know more. I met my partner, John, who operate one of the local dispensaries here. That was kind of my first into actually being in the industry. I started working at the store, and that was an amazing experience for me to see how many different people were walking in the store, and especially the older people, the people that really had these things that they needed help with, like especially with pain and chronic pain, and the stories that I started hearing, and it just became my natural choice to just decide to stick around and try to do something with my background in human rights advocacy and how I understand the cannabis as a plant, as a medicine, talking about the love for the plant. So definitely moving to Victoria and to the West Coast was when I realized the beauty of being part of this culture.
I couldn't even imagine the difference in living in New York, where everything's so fast-paced and go and business, and then just kind of like chilling out when you get here.
Yeah, I needed that. I think one of the main reasons I didn't pick Vancouver was exactly that. Victoria was a smaller city, and I'm like, that's what I need. I don't need distractions. You just go and you're in nature, right?
Yeah.
Gorgeous.
Yeah, I also found, like, when I started working in the medical sector about 5 years ago, I was shocked to see who really benefits from cannabis and who have had those amazing experiences way back in the past, 50s, 60s, something like that, and then now they're refining their love for it with legalization. So
yeah, absolutely. So many people that couldn't do it, that are conformed to the law. And of course, it's the danger that these regulations and laws have put so many innocent people in jail. And this is definitely one of the main issues in this whole industry, right? Now they can explore it, and they can go back to it and have a better understanding because of all the scientific research finally that is being done. It's really fascinating. We're all part of this like amazing baby industry that is really like a world full of potential, right? And it's pretty cool.
Oh, love it. And like we got to meet you. You're amazing already.
And I got to meet you.
Cannabis. What currently, I don't know a lot about what's going on in Albania, but what are cannabis regulations currently like there, both recreational and medicinal?
Recreational? What are you talking about? No, it's unfortunate. First of all, there's one side of the Albanian reputation that there's a lot of growing being done in the very black market. Unfortunately, it's not nice gray market that we had here that was not touched by that criminal organization part of things. Of course, that exists here as well. I'm not saying, but I'm saying that there it's mainly that, right? And that's the unfortunate part of that the plant has been exploited in such bad ways that it has given us a reputation, but also it has given people in Albania a very demonized understanding of weed, because in the news it's obviously listed in the very illicit drugs, but it's because organized crime that is running it. And in that portfolio, it comes weed as well, right? So that's a bad side. But we there grow some of the most amazing sativas you've ever tried. It's famous in Europe, very famous about its kind of reputation, Albanian sativas, because we are high altitude, but it's like here you have the ocean, you have that ocean air, it's all outdoor grown mainly, but it's warm, it's landrace, right? So it's pretty cool, and I would love to be able to talk about that part of the culture and understand the people, because sometimes there were grandmas that were growing it for their for their grandsons, right? Now we also have the legislation, which obviously again demonizes it quite a lot. The problem is that legislation completely forbids any even medical cannabis. You can go to jail even for ridiculous amounts like 1 gram.
Wow.
You are not allowed to consume it, you're not allowed to grow it, you're not allowed to talk about it in a way. But now they are considering passing the law for medical cannabis. So now there's a bit more talk about it. We went on TV maybe 3 years ago when legalization just happened here, and it was a foreign concept, and it still is. People don't like to talk about it. From my reviews that I've gotten when I have been on TV, I've had friends tell me that, well, I was in a place full of people and I saw you, and I'm like, wow, okay, let's see. And I overhear somebody next saying, oh my God, look, they're ruining our children's lives. Look what they're talking about, right? So this is where we're at. There's a lot of work to be done. I started just as an Instagram blog, doing posts in Albanian about cannabis. So I'm giving basic information. I'm just talking about there's sativa, there's indica, there's hybrid, there's hemp. Why is hemp cannabis? What's CBD? What's THC? Very basic information that we now take for granted kind of here, because we're so used to talking about it and hearing about it. So I hope that I can bring a little bit of information in the language itself, because I feel that many people are kind of locked in a way from whatever the media feeds them, and that is not the correct information. But with the passing of the UN said that it has declassified cannabis as of the last month from hard narcotics. So I feel that this is why laws are so important, and the way we design laws are so important. It really dictates the fate of the plant at the end of the day, and how it dictates the right of these patients that should have to access it and to have it as an option for problems that they can definitely cure with, or at least control with cannabis. Absolutely. And they can get in a destructive path otherwise. So
awesome that they have people like you and women like you fighting for drugs, essentially. 10 years ago, 20 years ago.
That's so true. Actually, the last interview, the guy said, okay, so my next guest is a drug dealer. I said, oh my God. He was joking. It's like kind of a satirical show, but there legally,
Right? That's what it is.
can you believe it?
No. So tell us some of your favorite ways to consume cannabis.
Okay. I love smoking a joint for sure. The plant, the flower itself is just so terpene, and you can really taste that. And we're so blessed here, obviously, to have the selection that we can.
Mm-hmm.
I also love vaping, to be honest. Vaping helps. First of all, it's discreet, and second, it's tasty, it's convenient, and there's some very, very nice products out there, right? And I like full spectrum oil, so this is kind of my favorite way. I also love CBD, CBG tinctures. I always put it in my smoothie. And bath. Oh my God, how can I not?
Honestly,
Bath.
Love them. Yeah.
When you discover that, you can never have another type of bath. It's like you're elevated. It really serves the purpose of a bath.
You're totally relaxed. Your muscles are relaxed. It's great.
And it keeps going. Like I feel like even after I go to bed, I'm floating. It's so good.
We need to get her some of Tessa's.
Some stuff for you to try.
Mm-hmm.
I love that.
Anja, you said you have a small team. Do you have a heavy female staff on your Flush team?
Yes.
Yeah.
So we are female and also queer. So we are very inclusive. We're dedicated to that, right? This is what we want. We want the voice of those that have historically been oppressed in one way or another to serve somebody else's agenda. Now it's not only like these talks have started in the 70s. Those women did so much to advance this cause too, and not even talk about like the right to vote and all of that. Nowadays, it's about actually taking action in how we run our life and our business, and actually making those choices that are kind of like the pivoting point into you talking about it and you actually doing something about it. So Flush, when legalization happened, we transitioned naturally to a consulting firm, and through the consulting, I really kind of strengthened my network quite a lot, and I took a particular interest in Europe and the European market. So now I focus in supply chains and kind of bridging opportunities between Canada and Europe. But then because of the network growing so fast, now we have clients in Colombia and in other parts in the UK. So it's really very, very interesting. And I was having a lot of fun. We were traveling quite a lot, and it was a discovery period. Like since October 2018 till, to be honest, before the pandemic, it was just go and do and work on these opportunities. But then pandemic hit, and I really went back to kind of what I'm passionate about, and writing has always been part of it, and human rights was always kind of like I was writing about it. I was a human rights journalist, but what I was doing even in the reports and everything, I was writing. And creative writing has always been part of my healing, right? And I've published as well. So I'm like, I need to find something that makes sense for me, that is mine, and that fits in that, like, I wanted to be a woman brand, and I felt that it was time for me to go to that point. So I decided to do Flush magazine, and I gathered my best kind of girls around that I wanted involved, and we started it, and then it grew and it became what we now call the Flush Brands, which is a shop and a magazine, but also a platform. We're pretty active also on Clubhouse, and that is a growing community that is really showing how we can connect as an industry as a whole. The idea of Flush magazine is this. First of all is eco solutions and we were printing in eco paper because we still want that feeling of like having the book in your hands, but let's do it in eco-friendly ways. And the more companies ask for this, the more these printing houses will have available. Trust me, it's hard to find options, and options that print well, because they don't invest in it. So this is one main thing that it's in our agenda to push as with the coalition of small businesses. Second, it's the idea of talking about the industry through interviews. We're not really dedicating our time into articles that are explaining kind of things that we're used to reading and we can find lots of information around. We're dedicating to storytelling. So talking to the people behind brands, and the brands that we decide to interview and bring forward must have a story behind, must have something that they stand proud for. And this is why we're doing this, is because we want to emphasize that these are the types of, and social entrepreneurship, right? Like, let's talk about the issues and the things that you're supporting behind the scenes, because that ties into the consumer trends that we're seeing nowadays as well. Like, people are not really loving the brands anymore as much as they're loving the story behind them, and they're more leaning towards purchasing. And the third thing is art, and bringing art and creativity and connected to cannabis, because like it is connected. When I moved here and I went to the dispensaries here, and I would see that one of the things that they will level out, what this strain does, is creativity. I thought that was not only the cutest thing, but also it motivated me. It made me more creative, because I was intentionally going into the experience with that, right? So I don't know, I feel like art is so important, and we don't need to talk about like get high and make some art, but do that as well, why not? You know, but it's a good thing to kind of get the stoner stigma out of the couch and into the real world, because we're all working, we're all doing things, we're all kicking ass, and we're consuming cannabis, and it's okay. So this is the Flush magazine, but then we have the Flush shop, which is kind of a curated gallery. It's like talking about every product that comes in the Flush shop. It's to normalize cannabis, not only where it's normal, but in places that it's not, right? Bringing accessories like laundry days, beautiful glass pipes that you can put a little flower in it and it will look like a vase, but it's a pipe, right? Like things that normalize cannabis doesn't really need to look like what we're used to, the Snoop Dogg type of cannabis, and no diss to that, but I'm just saying that there's room for everybody with all sorts of tastes, and this is what we're trying to promote. There's OHAI, which is a brand out of Vancouver, woman owned again, super cute joint rings and stash jars, and we're bringing in some new stuff, representing our women, but also picking the products that are fit for what we're trying to do in normalization of cannabis. And the GCC Shop, which is a 360 degrees all eco-friendly small business out of Toronto. JP, he's the creative director. He's amazing. He has really found eco solutions in every little bit of what he's trying to do, and all his packaging, everything is just beautiful accessories that are eco-friendly. We bring forward products that are collaborations with artists. So I'm going to show you our Rolling Trey.
Oh my gosh, so
cute for
cute.
you guys. This is our first product that we have out there. It's a collaboration with an artist out of Rochester, New York, Studio Budal on Instagram. He's super talented, does very funky designs, and we did this in collab also with custom rolling trays. So this was our first, and this is what we want to be able to give artists the opportunity to bring some cannabis accessories in the market, and obviously we both win. Both sides are winning. Then we have books. The bookshop is part of the shop, which is again informational, and that's what we're doing, is getting the education out there. These are all books that we're also translating into Albanian.
Woo.
So bring education there. I believe that as a daughter of a human rights activist, I'm super proud of my mom because she has fought for human rights, but particularly LGBT rights at a time where it was really not even talked about in the beginning of the 90s, but also about women's rights. And she's also opened the Women's Museum in Albania now. So
Wow.
like I have a strong influence of that type of empowering message that we need to deliver through everything that we do in life. And I'm trying to raise my daughter that way too. So.
Oh, isn't
That's
that
amazing.
beautiful? You got a badass mom. Now you're gonna have a badass
do.
daughter.
She's scary.
How old's your daughter?
She's gonna be 3 on Saturday. I was hoping she was gonna be a 420 baby, but she couldn't wait 3 more days.
Ah, that's too funny.
It was funny because we were always kind of almost betting. All our friends were like, is she gonna be a 420? And no, that would be too perfect.
Yeah, no.
Well, I love your story. I think it's incredible and empowering, and I love that you have this group of people that have, been marginalized in the past, and you're now fighting for this plant that has been marginalized and stigmatized. And I commend your story and your mom's background, and that's beautiful. We like to end with a little bit of a fun question.
Okay.
Would you love to tell us about a time that you got way too high?
I never get way too much.
Oh.
There's never been a time.
Oh, mom. My mom would be like, what do you mean? I don't know. It's not an embarrassing story. It's not even worth it.
Huh, that's an OG answer. I like that.
Yeah. Oh my God, I have one. In Albania.
Yes.
Woo! Yes. It was summer, and it was before I was a mom, and me and my best friend, we got this amazing kush and got a lot of munchies, like chips and all sorts of very bad things. And we were at the beach, and I remember we sat at the cafe by the beach, and we had the munchies in our bag, and we were at a point that I don't know, I feel like I never greened out in my life, but that was kind of like everything was glowing around me. So I had tunnel vision on some things that just were hilarious. So the level of laughing, and it was midday, all these families around us going at the beach and looking at us. I have no idea how we looked, but that was one of the most euphoric and amazing but highest moments of my life. But I really cherish that moment. It really reminds me of such good memories.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Yeah, I love that.
You guys are amazing. I'm so happy that you dedicated the space to just women. I really congratulate you, and I really enjoyed the first episode. I'm honored to be here.
Oh, thank you so
Yay.
much for
That's
being here.
awesome.
We really appreciate it. And hopefully one day in the near future, we'll be able to smoke a joint together or enjoy some cannabis products in person.
I
Yeah.
would love that. Yes, let's do it. I have trays for you guys.
Oh, love it. Well, thank you so much, Anja.
Thank you.
Beautiful.
Okay.